Are e-collars safe? In my opinion, no, they are not, and I'm going to get into exactly why, so stay tuned. For the best dog training and product advice, be sure to hit subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Wednesday. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa. I've dog sat and trained hundreds and hundreds of dogs and puppies, and I love sharing my advice with all of you. Okay, so if you looked up, are e-collars safe? You're probably thinking that they're not. So I'm gonna go over exactly why and confirm that no, they are not safe. So let's get into it. Number one is that they can be psychologically damaging to your dog. From your dog's perspective, they don't know when exactly the shock is coming. And I know proponents of the shock collar will put it on their wrist and say, oh, it doesn't hurt, but they're never actually putting it on their neck. And even if they did, it's really up to the dog what they think is aversive, not up to the human. And it's completely different when you know yourself you're administering a shock versus your dog who doesn't know when the shock is coming. The second reason that a shock collar is bad is because it's basically putting a Band-Aid over a wound. If you think about it, if your dog is already anxious and you put a bark collar on them, yes, it might stop the barking, but it hasn't resolved their anxiety. And a lot of times it'll come out in different ways, whether it's chewing the crap out of your furniture or destroying your walls or just whining, because a lot of times whining won't set off the bark collar. Reason number three that a shock collar is bad is because it can cause aggression over what they think is causing it. So for example, if you're using a shock collar on a dog who's barking at kids, it's coming from the kid and they associate the shock with the children that are on the street that you're trying to get your dog to stop barking at. So proponents of shock collars will say, you know, if you have the exact timing when you shock the dog exactly at the right time, they will get what they're being punished for. But humans suck at timing. And even with positive reinforcement dog training, where you're using a clicker or a marker word to mark the exact behavior you want, people still suck at timing. But I would rather have people mess up with the marker word or a clicker than a shock, which can cause a lot more damage. Okay, so reason number five, which is last but not least, there are more humane ways to train the same thing. So why would you train them using a shock collar when you have other ways to train the dog that are more ethical and more humane? So a lot of times people will say, I use a shock collar because my dog runs off. Well, why do you have a dog off the leash if they haven't been trained to recall yet? And sometimes the shock collar might not even work, and you shouldn't really be using a shock collar. You should be training your dog to come when called. Now, at this point, you might agree with me that e-collars are bad, but you're probably wondering, well, what do I do about my dog that counter surfs, or what do I do about my dog that barks? Well, don't worry, I got you covered. I have an ultimate good dog blueprint where I cover exactly how I train the most common behavior issues, and I'll leave a link to that below. Additionally, I have a Possum Parents Facebook group that's free to join, and I answer all of your questions, your training and product questions in there as well. All right, and that's it for today, everyone. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.